All right, we'll go wait a little bit while more people to join. So today we'll have a little small competition. We'll have a little small competition. I'm not sure about the award yet. Maybe there is award, maybe there's no award, but there is just a small competition going to start. So your job is to implement 2 Python function that's going to do something as specified in the project description. So that's why I want you to have a Git pod set up. Go ahead, have your Git pod set up. Have your GitHub pod set up where just your coding environment set up. All right. Just gonna wait for maybe a couple minutes while more people to join and then get my timer up, or a stopwatch actually. All right. Yes, Leon, you can go ahead and get your app set up first. The link to the blank workspace is this bit.ly/github. Click on that, and it's going to create a new workspace. All right. All right, have your workspace set up. Okay, so we have, let's see how many people we have. 14 All right, let's see. All right, that's about time. So is everybody ready? If you're ready, could you type something in the chat for a coding challenge? All right, well, that sure is something. Leon, you're still not ready? All right. Oh, well, Leon, how long do you still need? You're on the car right now. Okay, well then, that's unfortunate. I'm not sure to have stable internet connection to even sustain this class, but I guess we're just gonna get started. So if everybody's ready, I will go ahead and talk about submission first. How do you submit your code? All right. So let me go ahead and share my screen. So just open a new tab, or you can just go to see, Pastebin. All right, go to pastebin.com. And then what you need to do is you need to just paste your code here. All right. And then syntax highlighting, choose Python. Choose Python. Okay. Make sure this is public. And then don't do anything after that. Just paste it here. Click on create new paste. And then you get a link. For example, I just paste a random link there. And then you can get a link here. Just paste it to the chat. Send it privately to me, which you can only send it privately to me. And then I will check your code. All right. So nobody, okay. So let's see. We will go ahead and, so here is your code. Don't start yet. Don't start yet. I would like to give you roughly 30 seconds just to read through the problem description. Nobody start to type your code just yet. All right. Here is a problem description. Nobody start their code yet. Don't type any code. Here's a problem description. I will give you guys 30 seconds about to read it, and then I will go and start the timer and you guys can get started. All right. So do you guys have any question what you need to do? Does any of you have any question about what you need to do? You guys can ask any question at any time as well. Okay. Do you guys have any question right now? All right. Well, if not, we'll go ahead and ready, get, so let's see, ready, get set, start. Now you can go ahead and use the problem statements I give you and then see if you can solve the function. Again, once you finish, immediately paste them to pastebin.com and then paste your code in and then send the chat to me. You are not able, you cannot use any device like google.com, stackoverflow.com. All these codes should be yours without any external searches. All right, good luck. We'll do about 10 minutes maximum, I would say. But if anybody need more time, feel free. All right, if you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know in the chat. So this is a timed, like a coding challenge. And also it's a test to see your ability of how good you learn. You are doing every homework and everything assigned to you should be fine. So again, you need to implement two functions. One's return how many B's in a string, and one's to implement how many chars in a string. So for those who just joined, we're having like a short competition right now to see who solved this the fastest. Just solve these two functions. Send the code to me anyhow, and then we'll see who get it correctly the first. Currently, it's 5 minutes and 12 seconds since I started. So. All right, thank you, Jerry. Please fix your code without any input statements and fix your indentation as well. Thank you, Jerry. So you don't have to add a input statements because you don't need it when I do testing. It's all going to be automated once you send it to me. Make sure your function name is exactly the same as it defined on the prompt, not even changing the casing. And yes, and also fix your indentation error if you have any. Because sometimes if you paste it in there, maybe something going to change. Be sure to take a look before you just send it to me. Thank you. All right, and that's the time. 10 minutes, which I think should be pretty much enough for you to finish implementation of both of these functions. Peter just sent his count B function, I assume. Yes. Okay. All right. So be sure to send the both of the function to me, or I mean, I can just test it. So this is Peter's count B function. 1 second. Just take a look. All right. Hopefully I didn't test this code, but hopefully this is correct. So I'm going to go ahead paste the Peter solutions in, which I apparently can't. All right, just gonna super fast type it. All right, let's go ahead. Let me go ahead and take a look. All right. One second, let me fix something really quick. All right, I run the test. All right, first of all, congratulations, Peter's solution works. But hopefully you have time to finish the second one. If you have time, feel free to do that. Take a look at Kyle's. Your count char function is not correct. You spelled your function wrong. But let me take a look anyway. So I'm just gonna paste your code. You didn't return it, so it won't work. You just print it out. Be sure to return it actually. So I'm not gonna bother to test this since you didn't return it. The testing won't work. Be sure to have a return statement at the end in order to let it work. Let's see, Kevin's. All right. Okay, let me go ahead and paste the count B function in. We'll see who's the first one who get it actually all correct. Get all these two, both these two functions correct. Kyle, Kevin, unfortunately. Let me, 1 second. Okay, Kevin, don't think your first function works for some reason. I would manually go and check your code really quick. I think your first function should be fine. 1 second. Yep, your first function doesn't work, Kevin. Let's see. Your first function doesn't work, Kevin. Let's see. Then we get Kyle's second submission. Let's see. Nobody so far get 2 of these functions all correct yet. No, your statement is wrong. You need to return something. You cannot just type return. Return something. Return a value. Okay. All right. Does anybody else want to try? Looks like nobody gonna get my award. Actually, my plan is to give a gift card. maybe Amazon gift card. But let's see. Does anybody else want to try? Submit. Jerry resubmitted him. We will see. This work. All right. Well, your function name is still wrong, but it's fine. Okay, you define a variable out of. Okay. All right. Let's see would this work. You didn't return anything, Kevin. So your solution, I mean Jerry. So your solution's still wrong. Let's see. All right. Well, Peter clearly didn't do it in the 10 minutes time though, so you cannot get the award. But I'm gonna try anyway. If you get it correctly, either way. To move on. Let's see. Whoops. All right. This is a long one. Peter, do you mind if you paste into a paste bin? I cannot copy and paste code from Zoom apparently. And I can test it. Actually, let me just see. Pretty sure your code is solutions. So just paste it into somewhere else, not paste bin. So go to pastebin.com, then put it in. Copy and paste it into the paste bin. All right. Well, thank you for all of your guys' submission. Although nobody get it correct within the 10-minute frame, but hopefully somebody will get it correct when the next time I decide to show it. So here is the solution. One second. So all right. So here is the solution to both of these. Count bin counting. So you can see one is this count B's. This is really simple. It's just a for loop, loops the right character and add it. All right. And then the second is really simple. Instead of B, it's just checking how many chars there are. So we can just say equals to char instead of hard-coded B. We don't count. All right. So look through this code. Does any of you have any question? Does any of you have any question at all? Any of you have any questions? All right. Good. Okay. So now I'm just going to clear the entire screen. And then this is just our first part of today's class. Okay. So now let me ask you guys a question. Okay. Since I don't think poll is actually supported using this Zoom Meet. But here's the question. Why do you want to learn Python? Actually, this is going to be a really creative question. So if you have annotate feature, feel free to write it down. But here is the board. Actually, don't write it yet. Don't write it yet, actually. Don't write it yet. I'm just going to clear the whole screen. Thank you very much, Peter. Appreciate you want to do it. Oh, whoops. 1 second. Don't write it yet. Don't write on the board just yet. Okay. So the question is, why do you want to learn Python? Why do you want to learn Python? Feel free to write it anywhere else. I know that's pretty much the entire board, but just try to write it smaller. I write bigger because you could just give a phrase. No need for a complete sentence. Why do you want to learn specifically Python? Now, other programming language like Java, JavaScript, C, C Sharp, Fortran, Basic, stuff like that is cool. Well, that's pretty concise. We're doing that to flex because I can. Well, that's not really a really great response, but I mean, it's fine. I can use it in high school because I can. Well, I don't actually get this answer, but because I can use it in high school. Not exactly, they don't actually teach Python in computer. I mean, depends on what school you are, but most likely they don't teach Python. At least in the curriculum it looks through, they use Java, more like Java style. You can make game to pass time, okay? To make a web, you cannot hack whether if you just learn Python. Not in this class anyway. Open community support and then tech support, okay? So you can make a game. All right, good to know, Ken. Feel free to write it down anywhere. Well, that's a long one. Because Python can be useful in coding is an important asset in life, since coding is used in the technology and robotic and the future of many people in the future. Okay. Oh, okay, 1 second. And okay, you didn't add any punctuation, so I need to add punctuation myself. And robotic and the future, as many people says that in the future, technology will be widely used. Python is also easy to learn code-ish, and it's interesting. All right, good. Good. To make Among Us in Python, you could do that actually. It's actually, though we are not, you could theoretically and take a look and try. You could make Among Us in Python. I'm not sure what's going on in this little corner here. All right, I'm not sure what's going on here. All right, well, these are just some, makes sense. Just drag it around. Whoops, not this. All right, pen and drag them either way. All right. Okay. Then you have to use Pygame, well, that's still in Python anyway. All right, so it seems like you guys really have a lot of interesting reason to why do you want to use Python? Why do you want to use Python? Okay, so thanks for sharing your response. And mainly, actually, in the real world, 1 second, let me whiteboard again. I'm actually gonna make a new slide. Please don't draw on this slide. All right. So there are actually 4 main technology area. Obviously, we don't have time to take out all of them. We can take a look, maybe one of them or so. So for example, in the real world, Python used in the real world. All right, actually, let me just review. How Python is used. Let me just rephrase this. All right, so there are actually 4, all ordered by anyhow. There are actually 4 main area where Python is being used. Can anybody name one of them? You can type in the chat or unmute and share with us. There are 4 main area where Python is being used. IT is way too general. In fact, everything we do can consist of IT, information technology. Programming is not one. Samuel said website. Indeed, web development is one of them. Let's see if I can just change the color.
But isn't it like HTML or something?
This can be support as the backend programming language. HTML, CSS is the front end. This is the back end. So basically, if you use Instagram before, Instagram is built upon Python. All right, artificial intelligence. So game is not really one big industry because there's, I don't know, they're more like professional. I don't even think I spelled artificial incorrectly. I'm pretty sure I didn't. 1 second. Let me just spell AI. You know what? Artificial intelligence / machine learning. All right. Okay, maybe I didn't spell it incorrectly. Either way, artificial intelligence. Yep. We also have data science. We also have data science. That's another one. Data science to manipulate data. Plus, it's also a great tool for using these mathematic operations. We have one more area where it's Python mainly get used. One more. Related to the web, but not designing web in general. It's not used for nuclear research, unfortunately. Does anybody want to guess? For fun, no, it's real world. It has to be somehow useful. It has to be somehow useful. We have web development, artificial intelligence / machine learning, data science. What is the last one? Nope, robot is not one, not hugely being used in the industry. Not hugely. GUI, no, not really. Image processing, you can imagine this as maybe classified into web or AI ML. Now, Python is not really good for robot. Most of them are developed in Java or C, a little bit lower than Python. Indeed, Jimmy got the final one. It's web scraping. It's another professional industry of why Python is actually being used. It's web scraping. So these four, uno, dos, tres, cuatro, are the four mean region or mean area how Python is being used. All right. So we don't intend to take all of these, to take a look at all of these. So what I decided to do is, so we'll actually take a look at these. We'll take a look, these two. Take a look, whoops, that's unintentioned. All right. So we'll take a look, web development, and that's one of the fastest growing region for Python. We're also going to take a look, web scraping. We're also going to take a look at web scraping. Okay. These are the two of what are we going to learn about real world application in Python. So recall the previous weeks we focused on the actual concept in Python, such as learning the data types, the for loops, if conditions, data, different operations, and class. So now I'm going to focus on into how real world is being used. How could you use these into the real world? Okay. How could you use these into the real world? And so today what we're going to take a look is a new module that's called Flask. Whoever takes this class is going to get familiar, but I can promise you Flask, but I can promise you that stuff we're going to build in this class is not going to be the same as the previous class, as that's how I purposely made it. Or maybe a little bit similar, but we're not going to build the projects we built in the last class. So we'll go ahead and talk about Flask. All right. Flask. So has anybody heard of Flask before? All right. Has anybody heard of Flask before in Python? Anybody heard of Flask before in Python? All right. So if you do you want to go ahead and make sure explain a little bit what exactly is Flask? All right. Yep, indeed. It's a micro framework that's written in Python. All right, it's a macro framework that's written in Python. And today we're going to take a look of how we actually use them. Okay. All right, so let me go ahead and share my screen. All right, so let me go ahead and organize it really quick. I'm going to say maybe a competition. All right, and then let me go ahead and create a new file. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and create a new file, and then we're going to call this file app.py. All right, go ahead and create a new file, and then call this file app.py. Okay. So what we'll take a look today is this ideas of modularization, which is a word that to just make up, unless it's an actual real word, which I feel like it can be a real world. It's what we call a module, like the, okay, if I can draw straight lines, it's called modularization. All right, modularization. Be able to modularize something. So does anybody want to guess what this modularization intended to do? How is it going to benefit? So first of all, does anybody want to guess what is exactly modularization? Can anybody tell me what is exactly modularization means? Or do you guys know what this module means? What does module mean?
Does module mean like little packets of code that you can just slap together and make one gigantic packet of code with
Yeah.
some shape?
Yeah, you can finish your sentence. All right. Yep, that's exactly what is modularization intended to do. Package. All right, package. And then so this is what modularization. Module is you can imagine as a package. And the package is basically going to be able to distribute to us so we can build some exciting new technologies using the using the stuff, basically imagine the code that's written by somebody else, but can use it on our own and build more interesting code. This is the idea of modularization. And to export a package, to import a package is really simple. So what I want you to do is go ahead and go to this website. Go to this website. pypi.org. pypi.org. All right. pypi.org. pypi.org. And this is a Python package. So you can imagine this is where you can find all, or at least most, of the Python package. And in fact, some of it is not developed by Python. It's developed by developers like us. All right, it's some of them are developed by developed by developers like us, not Python's built-in modules, but you can install it. And one module we're going to use today is called Flask. All right, it's called Flask. You can search whatever modules here. If you want to use some features, that's maybe you can think somebody else encountered this. Maybe there is a package right available, because you can see there are 268 657 projects. All right, so you can see there's a lot of projects. 256,000, I think. Yeah. All right, so there's a lot of project. If you want to do, you can Google. You can go ahead and search a project and see, is there a new project there? Maybe there's already a project written for you. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to talk about Pip. All right, Pip. This is basically Python install package. Pip. All right, I can imagine this is where we can install the external Python packages. So what I want you to do is in here, in the Git pod, I want you to go and type this. Pip, 1 second. Don't just type that. I use this. All right, you can type pip install capitalized F Flask. Pip install Flask.
You need to upgrade your pip.
Don't worry about that. You don't have to. As long as your pip is not extremely low, it should work. And I don't want to really install a new version of pip because sometimes this can actually break the code, especially on these virtual environments. Not really special. I mean, it's kind of easier to solve, but still. Don't have to upgrade it. Feel free though if you want to. Now I should be able to see we got Flask installed. Is it like import number from mass? Yeah, that can be like a module. An object, yeah, I can call the system module as well. Yeah, object is basically like a class, right? Everything's an object. All right. So go ahead and install Flask. All right. So has everybody installed Flask? Could you just type yes in the chat if you installed Flask? Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you very much. All right. Great. So now as you install Flask, what you can see is this. You can type from Flask, import Flask. All right. Sometimes you'll see this error. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about that error. All right. Sometimes the compiler just cannot find this Flask package for some reason. But now if you attempt to go out and run this program, so you don't get any issue, means the Flask package is can be installed correctly. All right. All right. And then under this, we're gonna say app equals to Flask underscore name underscore underscore. app equals Flask, parenthesis, underscore, underscore, name, underscore, underscore. Underscore, underscore, name, underscore, underscore, just reference to the current module you're in, all right? So it's just a mandatory configuration as specified by Flask documentation. All right, and then we essentially finish the configuration. All right. All these mandatory configurations. Okay, does anybody have any question at all? Does anybody have any question at all? All right, then in here I will do assess. In here I will go ahead and say at app.route. All right, does anybody recognize? Does anybody recognize? Whoops, yeah, if I can clear my screen. Does anybody know what is this? It's called in Python. It's not method per se. Not exactly method, just this entire same, what is this called? What is this called? It's not called code 4, I'm not sure what that means. Not exactly a function, though it is made by functions. It's made by a nested function, actually. So one is function, then you get a function inside of it. Anybody know what this is called? This is what we call a decorator. All right. Well, sorry about that. This is called a decorator. I'm not sure why my camera just went down, but okay, this is called a decorator. All right. And the decorator in Flask is basically a way to associate the route, with different functions on the route. Okay. So for example, now notice that I typed at app.route. App, which I defined here. Route is basically I inherited from this Flask class. So at app.route, and route is essentially this. For example, this Flask app can host somewhere, right? In Gitpod, maybe the format is actually 5,000 hyphen some UUID dot maybe your region .gitpod.io, right? And then this may be what we call the base URL. All right, this is what we call the base URL. But then notice we may have a slash. We have a slash, and the slash coming after it is what we call route. So here I can say slash. If I just put a slash here, this just means the index route, or the route where once the user just visits your base URL without any suffix, this was render. But now it's the beginning of the slash, you may see different stuff then. For example, slash hello, that's a route, slash hello is a route, slash hello world, or slash homework, slash, I don't know, maybe hi. And this is another route, all right? So this is just for route is again, it's just a way to manage, to represent the suffix or where you are within and Flask. All right, you can imagine it's just like a URL handler or something. Okay. All right, do you guys have any questions so far? All right. So then here I can type this. I could go ahead type app.route slash. Recall this means the index route. And then remember this. I want you to go ahead and write it down somewhere. Or write it down somewhere. Better using pen and pencil, not just type. Write it down. You must return something at the end. Return something, not at the end necessarily, within your Flask function. And to make this obviously not what we exactly call this, but I'm just going to call, so come before this app.route decorator a Flask function. FF short for Flask function. Okay, so what does it mean by you must return something within your Flask app function? So it means this. You cannot write some code like this. It's going to give you error. It's going to give you error because it don't know what should happen. What should display on the page? You didn't specify this. Because using return, you give your function a value that you can equal it to, right? So I can just return hello. So now I know the content of this web page will always just going to be hello. So you must return something with your Flask function. All right. Sometimes you will have an if condition. All right. Sometimes, so then you maybe need to have two return statements in each of the part of the conditional statements. It depends, but you must think that how computer gonna think. You must think if it's do all these steps, no matter what, it will return something. All right, no matter how the code is getting run, it will return something. Okay, this is really important. If you don't do that, you will get an error. All right, and this something is actually have really specific types. For example, the common twos are strings, JSON, and maybe list tuples as well. But you must return something within your Flask function. This is really important. I hope you all of you remember this. All right. So now we're gonna say this. We're just gonna say return hello world. All right. And then here we'll just type export Flask underscore debug equals 1 Flask run. All right. Export Flask underscore debug equals 1 Flask run. And then you're going to click on open browser. Indeed, you can see hello world here. All right. So I'm gonna give you guys a couple minutes to finish the code up in case you still need the code. But do you guys have any question at all? Does any of you have any question? I'm gonna give you guys a couple minutes again to just finish with the code. Make sure to type respective stuff in the terminal, respective command in the terminal as well. Then should we see a pop-up menu? Click on in browser, and it should bring you up with this page. All right, if you're finished, please type die in the chat. And ready to move on. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Samuel. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you very much for finishing up. Done. Type done in the chat after you finish. Thank you, Jimmy. Kyle, please don't type that. Don't type like that again, but please type it normally. Thank you very much. But
It says on the link, it says name error.
name error. Okay, go share your screen. We got the first error already. First bug.
I can't. You disabled participant screen sharing.
Try again, please. All right, so I'm going to come. So here is the thing. You're going to compare code with mine. See if you can find what's a problem, okay? You are going to compare the code with mine. So now you can unshare your screen. I'm not going to directly tell you. I want you to be able to see the problem. It's a simple one, doesn't require any logic. Just compare your code, see if you can find any difference with your code and my code. Any different.
Found it. Okay, it's fixed.
All right, good job. All right, so I think most of you are finished. Thank you for patiently waiting here. So now what we're going to do is going to create another route. All right, actually, this time, what I want to do is creating something a little bit fancier. So notice right now, it's only say hello world. What I want to say is maybe if I have another route, let's see who's on my participant list. Maybe if I here has Ethan. By the way, Ethan's our TA for the session. Thank you very much. And then here I'm just going to create a function that says hello to Ethan. And maybe here I'm just going to say return hello Ethan. All right, hello Ethan. And then I can practically just copy and then paste a few lines of code. And then here I will say Bella. Hello to Bella. And then got Alex. So hello to Alex. All right. These are, we can create different routes to create different people. So now if you, let's take a look. So if I was still the index route, let's see, whoops. Got to change this functioning. Functioning had to be different as well. 1 second. Let me go to proceed to refresh. Okay, so now you can see I have hello world, but not with the slash Ethan. I see hello Ethan here, slash Bella. I see hello Bella here, slash Alex. I have Alex here, but if I write my name, slash Boyuan, I see my name. That's going to be a little bit troublesome because what I want to do is for whoever user just visited the slash route, I just want to slash something at the end. I just want to greet them. So hello, whatever their route is, because we can assume that is their name. All right. So we're going to talk about how do we do that using what we call a placeholder and converter. But for now, Jimmy, you can share your screen and then I can take a look. Okay, this means a stop point. This is for debugger. Let's see. Could you hover over the left dot? Hover over the left dot. How about this? Just click on refresh. That should work. That should work. Reload. Yep. Give it a second. See if it still doesn't work. Yeah, you don't have to unshare screen. We can just wait, see if it works or not. Yep, there. Okay, the app.python save. All right, that's unexpected. That's kind of expected. All right, I'm gonna copy and paste the code privately to you because I don't want everybody to copy my code. So you're Jimmy. There you go. Here's the code. You can paste it to the. You can paste your code to this Git pod, and there you go. All right, no problem. Yes, Kyle, I can help. What's your issue?
When I run the code, a bunch of random stuff appears, and it's like in line 98. I don't even have a line 98, and there's like 9 in line 1315. I don't have any of those. It just says there's a bunch of errors.
Feel free to share your screen. Okay, so from now on, what I'm gonna do is, if you have an error, I still let you share your screen, but I'm not gonna. We're gonna see if you can figure out the error on your own first. Scroll all the way down. Scroll all the now in the terminal, because you want to see the error. Scroll your error down. What does this mean? What does this value error mean? What do you think this value error means?
URLs must start with the leadings.
First, let me tell you. Let me ask you, what is URL? Because it says, since I mentioned one of the URL, where do you think I should put it? Not at the top, it should be within your code.
Oh.
URL must begin with a leading slash. Where is the URL? Wherever you put in the parenthesis. All right.
Oh, okay.
So this means you at least need to put a slash for indexing. You must do that. Okay. You must do that for every route. You must at least have a slash in front of it. For Flask.
Wait, how do I run this again? Do I just copy this?
No, you just in your terminal just type Python. Just type this. Type export. If you type export, space Flask, all cap. Flask underscore debug equals 1. Press enter. Flask run. Type Flask run. There you go. You can click on Open Browser. There you go.
Okay, thanks.
All right. So that's the error, and that's the value error. Okay. All right. So now let's talk about this idea of placeholder. This idea of placeholder. So what do you think does a placeholder do? It's gonna do something toward the URL, to the route. What do you think this placeholder going to do to this URL? What do you think it's going to do? All right. Placeholder is basically going to do something like this. So now I don't need to write any of these routes. In fact, I could just create one route for all of them. Here you can say app.route. Here I'm going to say slash string name. String name. And in here I would say hello. Create a function called hello. And in here I would just say return maybe hello plus name. All right. Hello plus name. So now let's go take a look. Now what's going to happen? Oops, 1 second. You need to actually write name here. My bad. So now if you go run this, you can see now I can say, hello, Boyuan. Since Boyuan is part of my route, it's actually disappeared here. Hello, Ethan. Ethan has disappeared here. Hello, Alex. Alex is disappeared here. Hello, anybody, basically. But if you just not type anything, by default, it's going to be hello world. This happened because you have this placeholder. All right, you have this placeholder. So you can imagine anything that matches with this pattern. So it's slash something. So maybe slash A, slash B. And this is going to be stored into a variable called name. Because it explicitly said name here. And then actually here's what's going to happen. This string just means a type. This string is a type. This name is a variable. That represents. And then you can see I put the name into this as the argument. The reason I put this into this argument is because this way that I can use it within the function, and this is a required step, whether you use it or not, to be honest. But if you don't use it, why do you create it? And then you can see I got return hello plus name. Right, so name just going to be whatever user type here. So if it's slash Boyuan, in this case, it's just going to turn Boyuan into a string. Pass it to the name. Use it within the function. Going to be displayed here. All right. So do you guys have any questions so far? Do you guys have any questions?
Yeah.
Yes, Kyle, what's your question?
Can you just go up a little bit? I just want to see what you wrote above.
Is this good?
It says 404 not found. When I type in a name.
Be sure you have this route and this route. And you cannot add any slashes. So just regular name, just one word name should work.
Can I see how yours works?
See, okay. By default, should we say hello world? And then here I can just say Kyle, because it should say hello Kyle.
Yeah, mine says not found.
All right, go share your screen then. 1 second. All right, go share your screen. And debug mode. Okay, didn't turn the autosave on.
Okay.
Be sure to save it, will turn the autosave on. And that should do the trick. You don't have to run export fast debug multiple times. You could just keep using it. I mean, if you want to, you could. All right. So that's not your problem, right, Kyle? Kyle?
Yeah.
All right. Great. All right, so I'm gonna go share my screen again. Okay. So what I will do now is, let's see. So now we talk about how to use a slash, how to use a converter, right? So does any of you have any question? Any of you have any questions? Nobody has any questions? All right. Well, what that will do then, it's going to make it a little bit more interesting then. A little bit more interesting. So now what I will do is we'll talk about how to render an HTML template. How do you render an HTML template? Because notice now every single render, is a string, just a regular old string. So what you can do practically is you could just say this. You could just say, let's see. You could practically in here, I could just add an h1 tag. And then let me add the closing h1 tag on the end. All right, so you could directly return an HTML code at the end of your state and in the return string. You see these HTML code gonna get parsed. But you can imagine if you have like tons of HTML code that you want to render, then this may be not really great and ideal for you. So what we want to talk about is this ideas of return HTML templates. So, excuse me, here at the top, type render template, comma, render template. This is basically the code that we'll borrow from Flask implemented, as this is a part of our modularization. And in here we'll say this. We'll just say app.route slash, actually let's not do that. Let's just change it an existing route. All right. So maybe some of you don't have any HTML experience before. So today's homework is just to get to know some HTML and CSS. That's maybe today's homework, this week's homework. So you will understand what is basic HTML and CSS, basically. So H1, but it's really simple. H1 just means a heading tag, and it's the largest heading tag. And then to create HTML file, what we'll do is we'll go create a new folder first. This folder is going to be called the templates folder. And here we're going to, in templates folder, we're going to create a file called hello.html. Hello.html. All right. And here type exclamation mark. Let's see if okay, it doesn't load. Or just type, so you can type all these starter code with me. Don't need to worry about what exactly they mean yet. All right, don't need to worry about what exactly they mean just yet. All right, and just need to make sure you have these codes there. We're gonna wait for a couple minutes while you type the code. And then what we're going to do is we're going to see how can render this HTML code using render template function. And wait for a couple minutes. All right, so this is, so just create a template folder, instead of templates folder, create a file called name.html and put the following content into the name.html. Do you guys have any questions so far? Do you guys have any questions so far? If you guys have any questions, you can also ask during this time as well about anything we talked about in this class or in the prior class or anything about programming in general. Oops. All right, so that should be pretty much the time you should be able to finish. In case you cannot finish, so actually, let me just do this. If you finish, just type, so what should we type this time? Just type HTML in the chat if you finished. Type HTML in the chat, HTML in the chat if you finished. All right. Type HTML in the chat. Finished. All right. Good. So now let's go take a look how can we render this in Flask. This is really easy. So now we say instead of just a return a string, you're just gonna say return render template. And render template, you're gonna put your file name here. Specifically, index.ht. Sorry, I'm extremely tired today. Index.html. So now if you go reload this page, template's not found. Whoops, not index.html. Apologize. Hello.html. And now I should be able to see this. Center align hello with exclamation mark at the end. Okay. All right. And now, let's see. Yeah. Okay. So, but now I can see a little. The thing is, because we cannot actually see who are grading. It's a hello here. What I want to do maybe is say, hello, what's your name? Like name after name. So this is what we're gonna call passing parameter, passing data to Django, to the HTML templates. You can add any amount of quarks here. Whoops, sorry for just stop sharing for some reason. You can add any amount parameter here, but you just need to know this name is what you will use in the HTML templates. And this is the actual value. Okay. So now you go back to hello. What I can type now is I can use two curly braces to represent typing some special code that's in Flask to compile it, to render it before it directly gets shown. Here I'm going to type name. All right. So you can just gonna type comma, name equals name, and then hello, name. Yes, I will go slower. All right. So good work for the first part of the class. Great job. We're not gonna do like a lot of coding in the second part. We'll just do something fun, aka Kahoot, unless anybody else have any other fun ideas is somehow related to programming. But for now, we're gonna take a short break. First thing was a short break. Right now, we're just gonna come back at 8:05. I mean Pacific Standard Time PM. Quiz is basically the same thing as Kahoot, but just 8:05 Pacific PM Pacific Standard Time. We're at 11:05 China Standard Time. All right, so you can post your question here, though maybe I'm not responsive, not during this moment. So like not like I'm died, but just I don't maybe respond to the chat. But hope you will enjoy your short 10 minutes break. And I will not unshare the screen, so you should be able to see the code. All right, and this is about the break time. Okay, let's see. Jimmy, okay, Jimmy's gone already. All right, Jimmy, if you're here, please share your screen. Jimmy's gone here already. Gone already. All right. Alrighty. So now if we go and refresh the screen, you can see we actually see hi Kyle. Hello, Kyle. Let's say this, you can say hello, Boyuan. Hello, Boyuan. Ethan, just made up that name. All right. So does anybody have any question about anything we learned today? Anybody have any question we learned? All right. Well, if not, we're going to start with another Kahoot to end our day. We're going to maybe going to end you guys a little bit early. Let me go see if I can find that Kahoot.
Nice.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Can I send the code? Yes, I could. Sure.
Are we doing Kahoot or quizzes?
Kahoot because I don't find the corresponding quizzes for this week. Though I can tell my TA to find out quizzes if you want to. All right. Let me go share the screen. Here's a Kahoot. Let me go click on play, teach. I'm gonna maybe play this Kahoot with you guys as well. Maybe I need to reinstall Kahoot actually. All right, maybe we want to play Halloween music because it's almost Halloween. Sure. All right, classic. The pin is 4609206. We'll begin momentarily. All right, we'll wait for just 1 minute, maybe too long, but we'll wait for 1 more minute, just in case anybody who's have technical difficulties. All right, 20 more seconds. All right, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, let's go get started. Quiz. How would you display hello world on the screen? Okay, these should be pretty easy for you guys now. Should be pretty easy for now. All right, indeed, it is print hello world. All right, it's not print equals hello world. That's a way to define a variable. Now output, that's not even a valid function. Yep. Next. All right, it's a Halloween. I like trains crewmate. Good job. Which of the following is a valid loop and will print the user's name 10 times?
I can't see it. I can't read it. I can't read it. No.
Eyes. Oh shoot. Okay, I didn't realize the order is. Okay. Take a look at the question order. It's not what it's supposed to be.
Oh my God. Wow.
All right, indeed, it is C. It is C. If we take a look, you can see this is the only loop who's actually incrementing. This is incorrect. These two all have syntactical errors, so we're not going to even talk about these. But this, you can see, it's a forever loop because 0 is always less than 10. While this, we're actually incrementing. All right, good job. Fish is drowning, A and Bish. Great job. Dot is a highest climber. Great job. In Python, what keyword makes the same step repeat over and over again? Indeed, it is yellow. It's not loop. What keyword? It's not what thing or what concept. It's a keyword. It is wild. Since 4 is not an option, well, ZB, XC, and not going to pronounce that one. Congratulations. Which of the following is an integer? Nobody but make a mistake on this one because it's so ridiculously easy. Ridiculous, it's easy to who's the main character of Harry Potter. All right, indeed. Still, some people choose 7.6 and hello world. I'm just going to assume they did it purposefully. But indeed, 8 is an integer. 7.6 is not an integer, it's a float because it's a decimal point number. All right, great job. Data storing computer program with changes. It's stored in A. In a what? Keyword. It's stored and changed. It's stored in a variable. Indeed, it's stored in a variable. Great job. XC is on fire. Great job. All right, which of the following will store a name entered a user in Python? All right, indeed, 12. Input, what is your name? What is your name? Great job to our leaderboard and whoever's played the Kahoot. Good job. All right, which of the following is a string in Python? Which of the following is a string in Python? Indeed, yellow and green are all correct. Yellow and green are all correct. These are all string in Python. All right, no major position changes. Which of the following is a valid if statement and will print out hello world? Indeed, D is correct. If we go over this, you can take a look. A is incorrect because it's missing a colon. C is incorrect because yes, it's not a Boolean value. It's not the string. All right. Great equals true, but you can see we only have one equal sign here. Raise the syntax here. You remember, one equal sign means what?
Assignment.
Assignment. Two equal signs means
Comparison.
comparison. Great job. I don't know why do I write it down. I need to clear it right away anyway, but just for you to remember. All right. Let's see. We got last couple of questions we just need to answer. And I'm pretty much done with today. Which of the following are Boolean values in Python? Indeed, 18 and 1 are all correct. True and false are all the Boolean values in Python. All right. Go take a look. The final question. Which of the following will be a function and call it to display hello world? Sometimes the Kahoot music is really weird. I'm not sure if you guys hear it. You guys probably can't. You share the audio. All right, indeed, it's A. Let's go over this again. Why is C not correct? Can anybody tell me? Why is C not correct?
Run does not exist.
Right, this is not correct. Why is B not correct?
Could you make in the first time the parentheses?
Yes, parenthesis. Why does D is not correct? Why is D not correct?
Because print and other syntax errors and function.
Yes, for example, got a syntax error here. Got it. We're not going to define a function using functions. That's not how we do it in Python. Another programming language, that's a different case. And please mute yourself. Thank you very much. And let's take a look at our final group now. Who won this game? Congratulations, Happen Limmer 78. It's a Halloween. And who gets 10 out of 10? Congratulations to you. May sometimes just gonna use a random name generator to avoid these, maybe some sort of inappropriate name. But great job on completing this Kahoot. Thanks for attending this week's Introduction to Coding, collaborated with the Classroom. If you don't have any questions, you can feel free to leave now. Thank you very much, and I will see you guys next week.
Thank you so much.
Homework is just to learn HTML and CSS. You guys homework.
Thank you very much.
Okay, you guys homework is to learn HTML and CSS. That's a homework.
What the hell? What's homework?
The homework is to learn HTML and CSS.
Like all of HTML.
HTML is super simple. You can trust me. You just need like an hour.
Thank you.
No problem. Bye.
HTML and CSS.
CSS, you don't need to learn it, to be honest. You just need to learn HTML.
Okay.
You could just search it. It's pretty easy to learn. All right. See you guys. Thank you for attending.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks.
No problem.
Hey, so for writing the notes, do you want me to include the links for the Python documents?
Sure. It should be somewhere in the chat.
Yeah, I have it. I'm just wondering.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
You can just write at the bulleted list. You can, for example, you can just write some big sections as I talk about. You can write bulleted list. You don't have to write in a paragraph or something.
Okay, well, I sort of just been taking notes along the way.
Okay,
And
thank you very much.
Also, should I email you after I finish?
Yes, go ahead, email me at this address.
All right.
Since it's a pretty professional matter, go ahead, email me at this email address.
All right.
Once you finish, you can just use a Google Doc if you want to.
Okay.
All right.
All right. That's all. Thanks.
No problem.